Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my glass studio. I was thinking that it might be a fun topic to talk about glass fusing for beginners, 5 things to know. Glass fusing is a very fun medium. That's number 1. Glass is a very fun medium. It is so wonderful to work with. Think of it, you can work with transparent material, you can work with opalescent material, you can make something that's flat. You get to cut glass and then melt it together in a kiln. It is so cool. So you get to work with materials that you can see through and get beautiful light. You can work with clear materials that give you a wonderful crystal kind of very clear, very clean look. You can work with stuff that has tons of colors. You get to work with things that are flat. You can make things that are curved. You can make things that are 3-dimensional. You can make sculptural pieces. You can make bowls, plates, coasters, lanterns, decorative pieces of art, sculptural pieces that you can, display. This wonderful piece is super simple, really fun, fast and easy to make. Glass fusing is a wonderful, fun medium and very versatile. So compared to other mediums like clay or watercolor or painting where they're flat. Now clay is also 3-dimensional, but you don't see through it. You don't have that beautiful transparency. You don't have that beautiful reflection that you get from it. So one of my favorite things about glass and glass fusing is that glass is a super fun medium and super versatile. Number 2, it's easy to cut glass. And I very rarely get cut. I work with it all the time, handling it, big sheets, little sheets, small pieces, and very rarely get cut. That's not an issue. It's super easy to cut, and it's very easy to make really beautiful, dramatic, and intricate designs very simply. So let me show you how to cut glass. This is a glass cutter. It's got a carbide wheel right here. It's a specialized cutter. It's called a pistol grip cutter. It's got a little bounce to the thing here. This is a piece of clear glass. I often, when I'm showing people how to cut, I'll start them off on clear because it's easy to cut. It's easy to see what you're doing, and you have great results. So you take your glass cutter, run it across the glass. You want to hear that beautiful sound. We have 2 different types of pliers. You take pliers, you apply pressure on, this is called a score line. You apply pressure to that score line just the right way. Boom. That's how easy it is. Isn't that fun? Now let's say we want a bunch of squares. There we go. And just like that, you have a bunch of cut pieces. Let's say you want to cut something skinny, something narrow, something half the size, or with a curve. Boom. You take that, you make that curve, and then you grab it with these are called grazing pliers, and you can very easily break it. If you're doing everything, if you have the right tools, and you're doing everything the correct way, which takes just a little bit of practice to get that technique down, it's super easy to cut glass. And with these square pieces, you can make something like this if you're cutting up colors, something really fast, easy, and just beautiful, really jewel tone. So let's say we want to cut a color, same way we cut the clear. We run a score line, we apply a pressure in the correct way in the right location, and boom, you're cutting glass. Let's say we want to cut this blue. Run a score line. Apply pressure in the right way with the right pliers. And there you go. This is an opal yellow. Let's cut that. Woo. All right, now that one, I had a little inconsistent in my score line. So let's see if that's going to work for us. It did. Look how beautiful. It's even a little bit forgiving. Now let's say you want to cut a shape. Something like this little leaf here. You would just cut around the perimeter. You can do curves. And then we have a tool called a grinder. And if the shape doesn't come out exactly the way you want, boom, that's a pretty nice little leaf there, isn't it? So you can cut shapes. You can cut petals for flowers. You can cut bird feathers. You can cut lily pads. You can cut straight lines, wiggly lines. Like this has a bunch of, sort of elongated crescent shapes that are really nice. This one is made with a whole bunch of straight lines put together to make this beautiful lantern. This one over here, I cut a circle for the background and then a circle for the moon. And then these are pre-cut for you. So that's a nice little added detail, added feature that you can add. You just buy already cut. So glass is super easy to cut. You just need the right tools and a little bit of practice and you can do it. So don't let that intimidate you or keep you from trying this hobby because it's really a lot easier it looks. And let me tell you, It's really fun to cut glass. It's really fun to work with it. And if you just handle it correctly, carefully, you'll have no problem. You will not get cut. Number 3, we work with special art glass materials when we do glass fusing. Art glass is glass that has color in it, or maybe a texture, and you might know it more commonly as stained glass. We work with stained glass, and the glass is not stained. It's actually, the color is made with metals and minerals added to clear material, which then the color in the glass is all the way through the glass, top to bottom, throughout the whole sheet. It's not a stain on top or a paint or anything like that. It's actually, the color is created when the glass is manufactured. So when we're doing glass fusing, we're working with very specific material, and the reason for that is that when we heat the glass, it expands, and when it cools in the kiln, it contracts. So we need to work with material that's compatible. That means every single piece of glass in this project has been tested compatible, and we know that when we put this glass together, that it will expand at the same rate when it's heated in the kiln. When it cools, it'll contract at the same rate so that we have success. So that's a little confusing. So when you might go to your art glass supplier or look up for supplies online, what you need to know is we're working with very specific material. There's 2 different primary families of glass. The families are called COE, which refers to coefficient of expansion. I know that's sounding technical, and woo, Lisa, you lost me. Come back. Let me hold on to you. It's not that big a deal. The glass will be easily marked, and it'll be marked by the manufacturer what it is. All you need to remember is you keep all the glass in your single project, you use the same COE for that project. This project is made with COE 96. I have other projects made with COE 90. You don't need to memorize that. You don't need to log that in. All you need to know is that there are specific materials, and once you start a project, you want all the materials in that project to have the same COE, the same coefficient of expansion, so that when you heat it and you cool it, you'll have success in it, and you won't have breakage. You'll have a wonderful, durable project that will last you forever. Number 4, this is the painful one. Glass fusing is an expensive hobby. There, I said it. You're going to need, in order to do your own fusing, you're going to want to have a kiln. The advantage of having a kiln is that you can be in control of your own firing, your own results, your own artistic results. But you're going to need to invest in a kiln. You're going to have some space, some dedicated space for that kiln. You can see I've got a variety of kilns right here. They come in different sizes and shapes. Of course, they come with different price tags and different features. The great news is a lot of the smaller kilns come with a digital controller. What that means for you is a controller. You plug in a recipe, a firing guide, a firing formula. You plug it into the controller, and the kiln does the heating and the cooling for you based on what information you put in. Now, some kilns come pre-programmed for you to do the most common techniques or firing processes that we do, so that's great. The smaller kilns often will just plug directly into a wall, 110, no special wiring needed. So you're probably going to want to have your own kiln. You're probably going to want to have your own dedicated space. The reason for that is the kiln is hot when it's firing, and you really don't want anybody around it. Particularly young people, kids, animals. You want that to be in an area where you can block it off, close it off so that it's not accessible when it's firing. You also may want to have a dedicated workspace with a table where you can work with your glass and not worry about it falling on the floor, not worry about the cat walking across the table, not worry about somebody coming in and wiping the table and getting a little shard in their finger. So part of the expense and the investment of getting into glass fusing would be having a dedicated workspace. It doesn't have to be big. It could be a closet, it could be a laundry room. It depends on your living situation. If it's just you, it could really be anywhere, But if you have a bunch of kids, a bunch of animals, friends over all the time, well, then you might want to have it in a location where you can kind of block it off and keep it separate from the rest of the house or rest of the area. A lot of people work in their garage. They set aside a little area for that, which is great. So a lot of times they start out with 2 cars in the garage, they get into fusing, well, then there's no cars in the garage. But that's fine. Glass fusing is so much fun. The cars can stay out. So, and it's an expensive hobby, but once you invest in the cutting tools, the kiln, some racks for your glass, some glass, a work table, it is an extremely rewarding hobby. And even though, the initial investment is kind of high, you're making pieces of art that have a much greater perceived value and literal value than other crafts. You're going to get much more for a piece of glass than you would, and a much more in admiration for a piece of glass art than you might for a little piece of wood that's cut, or a little, some other type of crafts or hobbies. I don't want to, put down any kind of crafts or hobbies because they're all fabulous. But this one really brings you to a higher level of sophistication. And let me tell you again, putting glass in a kiln and heating it and melting it together is really exciting. You're just going to love it. And so big investment. You can get into it in different ways. Another great solution for people who are concerned about the investment is find a local shop near you that fires the glass for you. What you do is you go there, you purchase the material, maybe you take it home, you assemble your project, you bring it back, they fire it for you. Then they have the dedicated space, they have the equipment, and you don't have to set aside, you have to worry about firing and having, inconsistent results. They'll take care of all that for you. So look into a hot shop near you. A lot of times you can find a local community center that might offer fusing. You might find a retirement community that offers glass fusing. And maybe you can go there and say, hey, can I contribute something in order to use the space? Can I contribute some materials? What can we do together so that I can get involved in glass fusing? Number 5, glass fusing is addicting. Once you try it, you are going to love it. You will be consumed. You will just want to do more and more of it because it's so much fun and so rewarding. The wonderful thing about that is when you are in your studio, in your workspace, in that community center, in that, public space where you can work, you are in an internal space of joy, of creativity, of inspiration, of encouragement, of just, creating is just such a wonderful therapy, and even beyond that, you are not only having this internal creativity, this internal, beautiful blossoming, but you're also creating and being productive, and then something you can either give or sell or just enjoy in your own home. So it is absolutely 100% addicting. And once you get into it, you're just gonna, your head will be spinning. You won't sleep at night, and you'll just be thinking of all the wonderful ways you can work with fusing and all the wonderful projects that you can do. Now, I've been working with glass for a very long time, and one of the things I love about it is I am experienced, but I don't feel like I'm an expert yet. I still have a lot more to learn, and all of those challenges, that entire journey is what makes me the person I am. So happy and inspired and just joyful that I am able to be creative every day and bring, projects like this and, share with you different ways to work with glass and different projects you can do. So I'm actually 100% addicted to it and love it all the time. So, be warned, if you start getting into it, there's no going back. You're hooked. You're going to be done. Thanks for joining me. Glass fusing for beginners, 5 things to know. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you're if it's something you considered maybe getting into, you weren't sure if it was something for you, find someone that does it. Look it up and go hang out at the studio a little bit. Get your hand on a cutter. Cut a piece of glass. We have a trash collector who is super friendly. Visit with him every week when he picks up. And one day he was here and he's like, so you get to do this all the time? You get just hang out here and create and play? I said, yeah. So I put a glass cutter in his hand and showed him how to cut glass. And he was in shock that it was so easy and so fun. So if you're at all interested, get a glass cutter in your hand. Go somewhere where you can be around this type of creativity. Find a place where you can get involved and just check it out. Maybe it's for you, maybe it isn't. But even if it's not for you, it's fun to see the process. The other thing I want to mention is you can be artistic, you can be crafty, you can be handy, or you can have none of the above, and you can still successfully fuse beautiful projects. You don't have to come into this with an art background. You have to come into this with a technical engineering background. You don't have to come into this with anything other than a desire to learn and curiosity. You come in with that and you will be successful. So again, thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please like, follow, subscribe, and comment. We love when you do all the above. Please share it. We love that as well. I have a premium video membership we would like you to join. Please join the membership. Through the membership, you get unlimited access to 31 courses right now, full-length video courses, step-by-step instruction, complete with printable pattern ebook. The pattern ebook has full-size patterns, color images, firing guides, pro tips for assembling the projects, and each of the pieces teaches you a different technique and a different method of assembly, plus you end up with a fabulous project at the end. So consider joining the membership. And until next time, happy fusing.